Hello survivors and welcome to another Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and in this video, well, we're going to be going over the recent gate. It is going to be from bashing through the snow, and I'm officially going to call this Snowball Gate because it all surrounds the snowballs that were in a raid tournament. We're going to read through a couple of messages that came from the dev team on the official Discord. The first one comes up saying, "Hello survivors, it's come to our attention that the raid tournament that is currently running has an erroneous amount of snowballs being awarded in the milestone rewards. The milestones are being adjusted to the correct quantities as we speak. We'll be digging into the total impact of this issue. We'll have further communications around a full resolution of the issue, including compensation, sometime tomorrow. Thank you for your patience and understanding." It also just follows it on by saying, "We'll also be temporarily removing the corresponding grey market store. It will return once the issue is resolved. Thank you again for your patience." So like I said, and like that said, the issue was around the raid tournament rewards, and it was the milestones. You can see them on the screen right now, and as you can see, they're far too high. Let's just be honest, they're far too high. The amount of snowballs that you could get from this completed the event for you. You could get S-Class Governor from just doing the milestones of one raid tournament on a 4 to 5 week tournament, which is obviously not how it's meant to be. It was so bad though that this is just a massive miscommunication, because the numbers you can see here, it's not like there's a 0 on the end. There's way too much in this. Like the first milestone should have been like 10, then like up to maybe the max one would be like 40 or 50, but it was like 85, 135 if you do the 10s, and then it goes into 2275. So it wasn't even like a 0 was added on the end by accident. It was actually just a massive miscommunication, the amount of numbers of snowballs that were required or like should have been given out during the event. And as mentioned, people did indeed get enough of the cards and level up 2 of the 5 stars into 6 stars and get their hands on S-Class Governor. Considering this is within the first 48 hours of a multi-week event, I think a majority of people should be quite aware of the obvious thing that Scopely was going to do next. Going back to the Discord messages, it says, "If you have obtained a Christmas Governor due to the error mentioned above, please do not level up, tier up, ascend the character, as doing so may result in the loss of resources used in the leveling up, tiering up while we work to resolve the issue. If you have already done so up to this point, we'll take this into account." It finishes on the Discord by saying, "As we work to resolve the current issue as quickly as possible, we'll be removing snowballs entirely from the milestone rewards of the current raid tournament. Thank you again for your patience." This is when Scopely decided to bring out a blog post, just obviously giving us an update on the issue and also telling us the compensation that we would receive because of this issue. We'll read through it. It says, "Bashing through the snow issue update and compensation. Hey survivors, earlier today on the 2nd of December 2020, the milestone rewards for the raid tournament included an incorrect number of snowballs for the bashing through the snow event. Due to this issue, we'll be removing all snowballs earned since the start of the event. As a result of this issue and the removal of earned erroneous snowballs, we'll be providing all players with the following. All players will receive 155 snowballs, which is the maximum number of snowballs that have been obtainable in the raid tournament since the launch of the event. In addition to the 155 snowballs, we realized that this issue caused a large amount of frustration overall. Due to that, we wanted to provide players with more snowballs than should have originally been earnable at this point in the event. Thus, 345 additional snowballs will be rewarded to all players. For those that were able to redeem any version of Christmas Governor, we'll be removing the character from those accounts and will return any potential trainers and gear used to level up that character up to 7 PM Pacific time on the 2nd of December 2020 cutoff. Any gear or trainers used after that cutoff will not be returned. We'll also be restarting the Bashing Through the Snow mission event to ensure that it correctly tracks the snowballs that will be sent as part of the compensation package. For those that purchased offers as part of the event, new free offers will be sent to you to allow you to redeem the snowballs purchased to be used in the restart of the event. Finally, all players will be provided with the following due to the negative experience that this issue has caused. So here is all the compensation that every single player will be receiving: 500 bloody snowballs, 40 Benedict trainers, 8 Ulysses trainers, 10 Lilith trainers, 10 legendary choice box B, 50 legendary choice box A, 10 epic choice box B, 50 epic choice box A, 25,000 armory tokens, 10 raid energy refills, and 2 S-Class card choice boxes. The 2 S-Class card choice boxes will contain 800 cards in each of the following characters: Marge, Carl, Morgan, Beta, Job, Javier, May, and Scotsman. So some fairly recent characters here that we couldn't get in the event otherwise. And then the gear choice crates a breakdown. We get 50 of the first one, box A, and we get 10 of the second one, box B. And then the legendary choice box breakdown, we get 50 of the first choice box A, and then we get 10 of the second choice box B. It does finish up by saying impacted players can expect to see related items removed from their account starting immediately, and you can expect all compensation items to be delivered within 48 hours. Please note that this compensation may appear in the form of multiple inbox messages offers depending on your level of your account was impacted, and that these messages offers may not appear exactly at the same time. Thank you for your patience and understanding during this time. Best TWD RTS team. So, as expected, any progress towards Governor, be it cards, 5-star, 6-star, or S-Class, is going to be taken back. I think a lot of people should have pretty much assumed as much. It did not mention anything about taking back any of the other cards that potentially people could have taken. They could have taken, let's say, Andrea instead of going for the Governor cards. That would be harder to actually do because I think it's much easier to just clear out an entire character from everybody's roster, let's say the Governor and the Governor cards, than it would be to just go over each individual account to see how much cards they got on a certain event. I think that's going to be harder to fix, and if you did get those cards, I think you pretty much may have got some extra rewards out of this. So you're the ones who are getting full-blown advantage of this one. Everyone else is just going to get full compensation and refunds on any of the resources they did put into the Governor up until a point. I think it was 7 PM Pacific time on the 2nd. So, you know, if you did keep leveling up your character after they announced it was an issue, then you're most likely not going to be refunded that. At that point, you're basically seen as trying to exploit rather than, you know, just seemingly getting rewards early. I mean, I think a lot of people should have realized this was not meant to be this way. You completed the event in the first 2 days. Definitely not how it's meant to go. I think this was pretty much the only way they could have fixed the issue other than just completely writing off the event. And what I want people to realize as well is, as much as there are definitely going to be people annoyed at this, the compensation that we're receiving here is really, really, really heavy. Like, if you were to see this as an offer in the offers section, it would easily be worth $100. Like, without a question. 40 bennies and 120 gear crates and 1.6k cards with 25,000 armory tokens on top. We're talking at least $100, probably more, honestly, and they're giving this to every player in the game. So from a Scopely perspective, this event has just cost them hundreds of thousands of dollars in compensation. This is, I think, the best compensation we've ever received from any issue ever. I basically see people saying that they don't have much resources when it comes to leveling at the moment, and you're about to get 40 bennies and a lot of gear crates on top. So as much as this is a big issue, and personally I would much prefer there to never be any gates and never be any issues, the compensation is massive. So we can't really complain from the compensation perspective, but obviously we can complain from the event being an actual mess in the first place perspective. And honestly, I think the game's been in a really good place over the last couple of months. We did have like a string of events at the early part of the year, or like just as the pandemic hit, where it was just like lots of events with lots of issues, kind of like this one where the milestones rewards didn't match up to the event in terms of the amounts. And we've got another one coming back. Hopefully this isn't like the start of more issues and we just go back to normal, you know, just make it so that there's a bit better communication on Scopely's side to make sure that everything lines up when it comes to the rewards in the milestones and obviously the rewards in the missions, because this was obvious. This, like I said when I looked over the milestone rewards earlier in the video, it wasn't like they put a 0 on at the end. This was completely way out. They just messed up the numbers massively, and they definitely need to just make sure this never happens again, honestly. I say this at every gate, try and make sure this never happens again. It's just about the process. I don't know the Scopely process of how they go through things. Like, is this working? Is this working how it should be? Just making sure everything's lining up properly. They just got to make sure that's the case every single time. And these little small things can have massive impacts on events. And this one, fortunately, was right at the beginning. So they're effectively just going to restart the entire event for everybody. Not the best case scenario, but it could have been a lot worse. If this happened, like, let's just say this happened at Christmas, like a couple of days before Christmas, there would have been a lot less people in the office at Scopely. People would have had this stuff going on for a long time. They could have potentially have it taken back after like a week. This could be much worse timed. So I think in a way we kind of got away with it in terms of the timing, in terms of it being like just a massive problem for the community, characters being running around in events and tournaments where they were getting points and maybe like actually being able to use these characters like in wars, and then they're getting taken back, and then obviously it's much harder to fix these issues. So it could have been worse. It's still not great. At least the compensation is pretty good. If you did buy stuff, you're still going to get those amounts of snowballs and so on from your rewards, so you're still going to be getting those rewards. If you have any issues after, let's say, 72 hours where you haven't got the kind of rewards that you would expect, do contact support. That's what they're there for, either on the Discord or in-game. Now, I personally woke up to a lot of messages because I went to bed quite early. I was like, I'm going to get an early night. This is a good night to get an early night. Maybe I was wrong. I did actually get a really good night's sleep, though, so I can't complain. And waking up to that sort of compensation, again, can't complain too much. Do tell me how much this has affected you, though, as an individual. Did you go crazy and level up the governor, or did you play it smart and collect the other cards? But do leave your thoughts down in the comments. That is the end of my video. Thank you very much for tuning in. And as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.